So I am going to do a full face look for you guys, showing you some of these fantastic SeneGence products. So first and foremost, before I do anything, I always start with skincare. I've already put on Climate Control, which is one of my favorite anti-aging and moisturizing products. And then I like to put on our Hydrating Mist facial serum and our Silk. So I kind of just, I'll either put this on a beauty blender and then kind of press in the Silk with that, or if I don't have a beauty blender handy, I'll just spray it on my face just to kind of open up my pores so that the Silk is received really well. So our Silk is our pore and wrinkle minimizer. So you typically want to press it in or go in downward strokes. And you'll always want to do that with a primer, but generally not with any of your other skincare. Most skincare you want to go in an upward motion, but in primer we want to go in a downward motion. Okay? So you kind of like let that set for a minute, and before you go into your full coverage foundation, you want to let that drink in. So what you can do while you're waiting, because I don't like to wait too long, is go ahead and do some of your like brightening and concealing. So I like to kind of just look around my face and decide anywhere that looks like it needs a little brightening. I'm going to show you how some of our products, most of our products, can be used in a multitude of ways. So we do have concealers, but in this case, since I'm going to be using Whisper Pink on my eyes today, I want to show you how it doubles up as it's one of my favorite eye brighteners, under eye brighteners. So I like to kind of just put it in like the shape of a triangle and then carry it up, because that makes your eyes lifted if you carry that up under my eyes. And really, Whisper Pink is a very nice for very pale people. Now I'm kind of in between pale and not pale because I'm using sunless tanners right now, so I look like I'm not pale even though I really am, but it's still fine as long as I'm going to cover it with the correct foundation shade. It's still fine to go really light underneath. And so then I just kind of like to go in all the areas that I like to brighten. And with our shadows, they're cream to powder shadows, and so that's an eyeshadow, but like I said, it can be used for so many different things. So then I just take a concealer brush. I like this one because it's a kind of dome shaped and it's easy to get in the corners of your eyes and around your nose. And I just kind of blend that in. I don't even blend it all the way in, but I just blend it in enough that it's soft. Okay? So I'm going to do that everywhere. See how that like dome, it gets right in those corners? Everybody gets a little red right here around their nose. I'm not sure why, probably because we blow our nose a lot and we break our little blood vessels right there. But it's just a common, very, very common thing to see. So I just like to brighten right there just to even that skin tone out. You could also use it on your eyelids as a base, especially because I'm going to be using it in this look. It doesn't hurt to do your whole lid in one color first as kind of a primer look. You don't have to with SeneGence eyeshadows because our shadows don't really require a primer per se like you will with other eyeshadows. But it does help to just cancel out any veins and give you a really nice even look when you do put your shadows on. So we'll go ahead and just cover the lid in that same Whisper Pink. So you're going to see just how versatile Whisper Pink is. If you didn't want to use a brush, you could just use your fingers, especially on my eyelids. Sometimes that's just the fastest way to go when you're just trying to coat your whole eyelid. The warmth of your finger also helps to kind of melt it. So with our shadows, you have like 3 minutes, I would say, of blending time, and then it sets. So what's fabulous about that is that you don't get any creasing. The fact that they're not powders, they're not going to fall out all over your face. So now I look super pale, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and use, we'll go ahead and use medium tinted moisturizer. I'm kind of in between light and medium, so if medium ends up being too dark, I can always add a little light. But since I'm so light with my under, I should be okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit in certain areas. Woo, we went fuzzy. Come on. Come back to me, camera. Okay, so this has an airless pump, so it pushes up your product so that you're not like having to whack it out of the bottle. And I like that because you don't have to push it all the way out, but I just push it like a little bit to get the product where I want to. Just little dots here and there. You'll kind of learn as you use it how much you need. Generally, it's about 1 full pump if you want to do it that way, but after a while, I just started doing it a little bit in each area and figuring out about what I needed. So I'm going to kind of go first over the areas that aren't highlighted, right? So like my cheekbones, my forehead, my chin was highlighted, but I'll go over that last. And I like to blend down my neck because this is just a tinted moisturizer that I'm using. So first and foremost, it's giving me moisture, and we tend to just put skincare on our face and not our neck, and our neck and chest need it just as much. So this is just a tinted moisturizer, but it also, because it's so color correcting and it makes your skin just flawless, that to me it almost looks weird when your whole face looks flawless and then your chest and your neck isn't. It's not that it's like a major different color, it's just that it's such a flawless finish. You'll see as I continue to put this on, like your skin just literally looks airbrushed with this. I love our tinted moisturizer. Like, it's usually all I wear. If you want it even more coverage, you can put a foundation over the top of it. But I just really love the tinted moisturizer on its own. And it's buildable too, so if you're like, okay, you know, like how I just kind of guessed how much I was gonna need, you can just put a little bit more on if you didn't get enough in certain areas. So I didn't really put any under my eyes, so I'll just put a smidge there and maybe a little bit more right there. Okay. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I want to make sure you guys are aware that I am running a really fun summer sale called my Christmas in July sale. I let National Lipstick Day be the starting day of the sale, and it's actually going to run through August. So it's going to run for a week. So you have a week to take advantage. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got the cutest prizes and gifts to go in your packages, like just adorable, super 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 cute. I got some really cute earrings, kind of tropical, and they remind me a lot of, I got some earrings from my best friend recently from Free People, and they remind me a lot of that same style, if you're familiar with the Free People products. But it's, you know, kind of boho, I would say. Super super cute, tropical feeling, earthy feeling, boho feeling, and everybody will get a different pair, and I promise you'll love them all. None of them are bad. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows, and this is another thing. So this is Deep Plum. This is a purple eyeshadow. So again, eyeshadows can be used for everything. Just think of these eyeshadows, I don't even know why they're called ShadowSense. Really, they should just be called like Fabulous Face Paint, because you can use it for like everything on your whole face. Okay, so I tend to use them for a lot of things, and that's the other reason. Sorry, this brush is not as flat as I would like. You want to get an angled brush when you're doing your brows, but sometimes the little fibers get kind of janky. Okay, I just pressed them flat. We'll see if this will do better. If not, I'm gonna grab another brush. But you want a flat angled brush to do your brows with, and that's really what determines, yeah, this is my favorite one. Let's go to this one. Okay, that's really what determines how the ShadowSense goes on, is what kind of a brush you're using and what kind of technique you're using. So in this case, I'm going to use a defining brush, and I'm just going to outline my brow on top and bottom. works better if I have a close-up mirror, so I'm going to hold this mirror. But I like to define it on top and bottom, and then I like to fill it in. Now brows are also very personal, so just because obviously my brows are not going to be the norm brow, most of you guys aren't going to have purple hair, so most of you guys aren't going to have purple brows. But if you do, know that you can get your brow product no problem with our ShadowSense line. But we have obviously browns and blondes and auburns and all the colors that you would need depending on your hair color. And then if you don't like a bold brow, you could still do, you would just individually kind of paint in the hairs rather than doing the shaping that I'm doing, where I'm doing top and bottom. If you were trying to do more of a natural brow and you didn't like this defined brow, then you would just go in like hair-like strokes like this and fill in your brow like that, okay? But you can do it however you prefer your style to be. But I'm going to be doing more of a defined glam brow. Glam is kind of my thing. I love. So even if I have like everyday eyeshadows and lip on, I tend to like to have glam lashes and brows. But you guys, makeup, it's all personal preference. It's not really any right or wrongs. There are some technique things that could be done better than others that I can help with. If you ever have questions like, hey, how do you do this? I struggle with that, you know, whatever. But I try to refrain from telling anybody that they're doing it wrong, because it's all subjective and personal preference. Just the other day I had somebody telling me that I couldn't wear certain colors. And, you know, my mom used to say that too. My mom used to teach me that, you know, oh, blondes can't wear yellows. And I found out later as I became a professional stylist that wasn't true, but it does depend on, you know, shades. Like which shades of blonde look good with which shades of yellow, and also how are you balancing that yellow out. You know, if it was all yellow or yellow and red, would that work, or does it need to be yellows, like earthy yellows with mustards and browns? You know, it just depends. And you have to play with it to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But that really also boils down to what you can pull off, what your confidence says. Yes, this is good. This is me. You know, so don't ever feel like you're doing it wrong, or don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong. Unless you're struggling with something and you just don't like something, then you can go ahead and research how to do it better, or ask the questions. But for the most part, you guys, it's subjective. How we dress is subjective. You know, we all get to pick and choose. There can be fashion experts, but in the end, it depends on what you're comfortable in. Right. Okay, then let me get off my little soapbox there. All right, so we're going to be talking about the rainbow collection, and I've been doing looks for the rainbow collection, and I've been trying to show you guys like ways that women can wear it every day, because a lot of people look at these colors and they think, oh my gosh, I don't wear bright colors like that. Like, no way, Jose. Then I have other girls that are like, give me all the bright colors, right? I am here to tell you that it doesn't have to be bright just because you have these colors. If you mix snow, which is a white, with any of these colors, you're going to get a soft, pretty pastel color. And it just depends on how much white you mix. And it's not hard. It's really super duper easy. If you mix, you want to know what's really pretty? Is mixing like one of our shimmers. Like this one is called Silver, or Glacier Glitter. There is a silver shimmer. There is a platinum glitter. If you mix any of the silvers or the kind of sparkly light colors, you will get really gorgeous colors with these. Then, to get on another note, if you mix black with any of these, you'll get a really deep earthy green, or a burnt orange, or a dark blue, or a super dark purple. Like, you'll get really cool earthy colors. So don't think you can't do this. But what I'm trying to do is showcase so many different ways with these colors, but my main focus this go round, I'm going to kind of do each one of the rainbow. So I'm doing red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, violet, okay? And I'm doing the first round, I'm still doing kind of glam looks, but I'm mixing them with like nudes or neutral colors so that it's just the one bright color and then everything else is kind of nude or neutral. And then I'm going to do another go around with them where I'll do really bold, fun, creative looks. And I'll do another go around with them where I do super, super subdued, everyday looks. And then I'll do some mixing looks. And I will show you, I'll probably have enough for the whole year, the rest of this year, to do a different series using the Rainbow Collection, creating completely different looks. And you guys are going to die when you see how versatile it is. So, I was kind of inspired by my dress for this look. So the color that I'm on is indigo. And indigo is like a deep, deep blue with a hint of purple. And it made me think of my dress because I've got this deep, deep blue, but I've also got this taupey pink color in this dress. And I was like, okay. And then there's also the highlights. So I pulled I like to do this a lot when I'm creating looks. And as a stylist, it's a great way to learn what colors go together. So in the beginning, like when you're kind of trying to figure out what like different colors go together well for clothes or makeup, look at some prints. And when you see prints that you like, flannels or printed dresses or printed shirts, when you see prints that you like together, it's because those colors go really well together. So take note of that and try and do a different look or outfit or eye look based on those colors. Also, as a photographer, this is how I would style my families. I would tell them, you know, pick one pretty printed dress for mom or the girls, one of the girls, and then that's your color palette. And then take all of those colors out of that, and you can tell everybody in the family they can wear blue, or they can wear pink, or they can wear white, or they can wear kind of this taupey color, right? And that gives you like this palette, and everything kind of comes together from there. So anyhow, that's how I decided to kind of go with this look today. I've not done this look or color before, so we're just winging it. I am going to put, this is pink Posey, and it's such a pretty color. Between that and mulberry, which I thought about working into this color too. I love to put these two colors together. I might do that because there is multiple shades of pink. Maybe we'll start with mulberry because mulberry is a little bit lighter, not as dark. So I think I'll put that in the transition. So you could do it two ways with our ShadowSense. You could literally like just apply it right there and then wherever you want it and then blend it out. Okay, so that's one way that you can put it on. And with bold colors, I don't really recommend doing that. With lighter colors, you can get away with it. But with bold colors, it's so pigmented that you might get too much on your eye doing it that way. So the other way you can do it is just pick up the product off the brush and apply it that way. And that way seems to be a little more forgiving for people who are new to the product line and are new to cream to powder shadows. Don't think cream to powder shadows are hard to work with, because I believe they're easier to work with than powders. They're just different than probably what you've been used to working with, but they're so much more forgiving. They are not messy. They're not going to fall out all over your shirt and your face. And if you mess up, you can fix it. It's okay. So don't stress. But the best tip I can give you is less is more. So start with less and then build up. It's easier to add than it is to take away, but it doesn't mean you can't take away. So don't worry, okay? Okay, so I put on mulberry. We had whisper pink in the whole eyelid. Then we just put on mulberry in the crease and transition. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do mulberry on the middle, or inner to middle portion. I'm totally winging it. So I think I'm going to do half of the eye. We'll see what we think. I may end up wanting to change a few things. We'll see. But I'm not using any inspiration photos or anything. I'm just kind of going from what I think will look good. And that doesn't always look good the first time around. So you can, like I said, you can add and fix things as you go, and it's just fine. So I've got mulberry. If you notice, mulberry is like a little bit more, it's lighter and a little bit more brown. And then pink Posey's got more warmth and more pink to it. And then I want to use that indigo on the outer corner. I'm trying to do easy peasy for you guys on these. I'm not like the creative looks that I'm going to do later in the game are going to be way more challenging. So I want to start with easy. So my goal is for you not to be intimidated by these shadows, because you should not be. And I have so many people that are, and I don't want you to be. Okay, so with the dark color, like I said, you could typically do it on the brush first, or just start with a little bit. So you see how much I just did. And again, it also depends on how pigmented you want it to be. So with these shadows, like a little bit would give it less pigment if you're like, ooh, I don't want it to be too bright. But if you want it to be bright, then you want to just add more. That comes to that buildable thing, right? So me personally, I usually like more, but I know a lot of people who would want this to be really light and would just do a dot and blend it out. And that's totally fine. I want it to be a little more intense and to kind of like pop with my hair. So if you notice, I'm just kind of pressing and bouncing it in because I don't want to lose the color. But if I were to move it around a lot, then it would lighten up more. So it just depends on what your ultimate goal is. Super pretty. So you definitely, as you bounce that out and blend it out a little, you can definitely see the purple in that. Okay, and I'm going to want to kind of lift this up. I want it to come more in an upward motion, so I'll probably get a brush that will lead it that way for me. Something with a bit of an angle or a sharper edge. So yeah, so something like that will work. And then I can get a little more direction on it, and then we can fuzz it out if we want to. But if I want it to like kind of be like a wing, and I don't know if we're going to do a wing to this yet until I get more further along with the look, but a lot of the times, and especially this is really great with hooded eyes, you can just use your eyeshadow in a wing-like fashion, like I'm doing now, right? I'm just directing it up as if I was doing a wing, but this is with our shadow, and we're gonna blend that out, and we're gonna just make that be the focus, and then we can decide later if we want to put a wing on top of that, or if we just want to stick to the shadow being that upward lift. Everything does not have to be winged out, you guys, and especially for hooded eyes. My eyes are kind of, they're not hooded, but they're getting there with age, so I'm teaching myself to not think I always need a wing. Promise you don't. You do not. Okay, so it doesn't look great right now. It's okay. We are just gonna keep lightly tapping, and then you can also kind of start to carry it over if you wanted it to be a little bit in that transition. It helps to have like a still a soft brush. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. Yeah, like this, like a soft fluffy brush, but this more squished if you want to start kind of trying to bring it up and into your crease a little bit. What you growling at me for? Got a doggy down here growling. What's the matter? What's the matter, Jingles? Is there something outside? Notice the more I blend this, the softer that it gets, okay? So it just depends, again, guys, on how soft you want it to be. Jingles, I cannot take you out right now. This channel, by the way, it's a Pandora channel that I found where they play like modern pop and rock and hip hop songs, but played on piano. I love it. It's nice because I kind of, you know, still get to kind of listen to my songs without having to worry about like the words distracting me or having to talk over the words while I'm talking to you guys. Anyways, my Christmas in July sale. Let's get back to that because there's some really cool things coming with that. Alright, I'm starting to feel this eye look. I'm telling you, sometimes also it doesn't really come together until you get your mascara on and or eyeliner. So, don't fret. Don't fret. I'm cool with it being this light. In some areas, I think I may end up using this same color as a liner right against my lash line just to make it a little more bold there, and then I'm picking up a little bit more and just wanting anywhere where it seems like a little bit less defined, where it's getting a little bit, where I'm losing kind of the shape that I'm going for. I'm just going to put a little bit more on and lightly stipple. So I want to make sure I keep that kind of upward and over shape. I feel like at the top, ooh, it's kind of losing it, so that's the way to bring it back. Well, that is the way, my friends. Okay, plus I want to make sure it's about the same on both sides, like height wise. You don't want one to be like up really high and then the other one to be like down low. Also, like with this channel, trying to figure out what song it is, and sometimes I can't tell until it gets like to the chorus, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that is. And not all of them have I, but most of them I have. So you see how I kind of started on the outer corner and then I'm kind of working it up over. Okay. And then it doesn't hurt to get just like a dry brush that doesn't have anything, any of the colors on it that you've been using, to just kind of blend it out on the outer edge so that it's softer. I know I told you guys had about 3 minutes of blending time, but you can always soften. Like you might not be able to like carry that blue indigo color over anymore, but you can definitely soften it up just by doing what I'm doing here. Okay. Also hard for me to tell, I'm sure this is the case with you guys too, until I have like blush and lip. So we're gonna let that sit for a minute. We're gonna go to blush and figure out a lip color, do some mascara, and then we'll decide if we want to bring the look down and if we want to do eyeliner, okay? So again, I wanted to show you how you can use multiple, use products in multiple ways. So I'm going to show you how to use Mulberry as your blush. Okay, so that was the color that we used in our crease. And then you're just gonna want like a roundish, let's use this one. Roundish blush brush. Perfect. And then carry that up some. You don't want it to look like just a straight stripe, so make sure to kind of bring it into the apples of your cheek. I think a lot of times we forget that it's not our contour is supposed to be a line, and our blush is supposed to kind of sit on top of that contour, but it doesn't mean that it should be a straight line. And many times we forget that, and we just get this straight up line right there. Also, if we carry that up some into our forehead, kind of around our face, it looks a lot better than if it was just in one place. And if it's too much anywhere, if it feels like too much, go back with your foundation brush and just kind of lightly tap anywhere where you feel like, well, that's a bit much. And I'm going to wait on the top before I tap it, because I do want to put some of our pearlizer, which is our liquid highlighter. I'm going to put that on top of it, so I don't really want to cover that up with the foundation brush just yet. I want to see what it looks like once I blend in this highlight with it. So I like to use a really loose brush or a fan brush, either one of these, for highlight. So we'll try both and see which we prefer. It depends on the look, kind of, but this one I like because you can kind of smoosh it into the blush a little bit, and that's what I'm wanting to do here, is kind of smoosh it in. You can take this brush and just blend it out.
Your gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow.
Commercial. We'll turn that down. Okay. And then I take whatever I have left and kind of just work it down my Cupid's bow area, above my brows, and right on my cheek. Got doggies falling asleep at my feet right now. Okay, just to get that highlight in there. Still feel weird until I have a lip color on. So something really cool that I could do is I could put pink Posey on my lips, just to show you yet again how versatile these products are. But I'm not going to, because I want to show you guys some of these colors that you can get for free if you sign up in July. So I'm going to pick a color that comes in that kit today, just so you can see. These colors are beautiful. They look beautiful on anybody and everybody. There is 6 different colors. Oh, that all comes for free. Sorry, I'm losing the little books that come in this kit. In this kit, you get receipts and beauty books and all of the printed materials that you need to run a business. But then you also get 6 free colors and a gloss and an oops. And of these 6 free colors, let's see if we can pick one that would look good with this eye look. Of these 6 free colors, they are colors that will look pretty much gorgeous on anybody. Let me see if I can spread them out a little for you. It's hard to hold them in one hand. Yeah, look at those. So pretty. Alright, so I feel like this is Caramel Apple. Everybody loves this color, but I feel like it's too bright for the look that we're doing today. I think it would look really good with browns, but since we got a lot of color going on up here, we don't want to add a lot of color. This is Love It. This one is kind of a peachy color. It wouldn't look bad. I think I'm leaning towards more of a matte though, and there's some shimmer in that. Then we have Sheer Berry. This is a matte, but it might be a little dark for what I want today. Gorgeous on everybody. Don't think that it's not too dark for anybody, but just for this particular look. Bombshell is super light. This is the color that Jennifer Aniston wears all the time. I might use that as a highlight on my lip today. Dawn Rising is a pretty brown, like a medium brown. It looks great on everybody. I think I'm really leaning towards Bella. Now Bella is my number 2 selling color. Sometimes number 1, depends on the time of the year. But, so it sometimes fights for number 1 with Napa. And it really depends on your age demographic and everything too. Napa, I feel like is more of like 35 plus. Like the younger girls aren't after it as much. And Bella is kind of a universal. More of the younger girls, but literally everybody loves Bella. So Let's put Bella on and see why. I like to do the outline first. Look at that gorgeous color. Now you see why everybody loves Bella? Okay, I'm working on the outer portion first because I do want the inner portion to be a little bit lighter. Okay, and now I'm just going to lightly go over the inner portion. Okay, ooh, that's so pretty. And I'm going to let that dry before I put any gloss on it. But that bombshell that I was saying you could use as a highlight. You could put like a dab of that right there just to get it to top. It's got a little bit of shimmer to it, so if you didn't want it to shimmer, let me show you another way. You can use that Whisper Pink. This is that color that we used on the inner underneath to color correct, kind of as a concealer and as the bottom primer of the eyeshadow. But you could also put a touch of that and just blend that in, and that kind of acts as a matte highlight, which also makes your lips look more full. Okay, so see how you can do that? I'm gonna go back with my foundation brush now, and anywhere I look a little shiny, a little too shiny, where I don't want all that highlight, I'm gonna go over. Now, I'm looking shinier than normal, and that's because I'm using a bright ass ring light. Just put it to you that way. I'm using a very bright light. Normally it wouldn't be that much flashback, plus I'm in a really dark room. So when you use bright light and you're in a dark room because it's nighttime, it's going to really bring that flashback into my skin that's not normally there. So when I'm in a normal lit room, it's not going to be that shiny as that flash that you're catching right there, but it is gorgeous. I am not mad at it at all. Okay, let's turn that light back up a little bit. Whoo, eyes adjust. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put some gloss on, and with our glosses, there are several different glosses that you can choose from. Typically, people just put on matte. We also have a really pretty color called rose gold that you can put on top of things. I think I want to stay pretty matte, so don't know where my matte gloss is though. I think I have, yes, a matte sample. So do you still have to use a matte gloss on top of your color like I have right now? A lot of people have asked me that. Can you not just let the color dry and wear it as is? If you did, it still can feel sometimes, this doesn't feel tacky at all, but sometimes it can still feel kind of tacky, and more importantly, it's not hydrating your lips at all. So that's why it's so important to still use your glosses. This is just a sample size of it, but you would have a full size. If you don't like shiny, you can get matte gloss, and this will still hydrate your lips because this has vitamin E and shea butter. So I'm going to put that on, and it takes out any shine, but it hydrates. So now I can really rub my lips together. I can get hydration. It permeates through the color without breaking down your color. And that's freaking fabulous. So my lips right now feel like they've got like a balm on them. Like a really nice, silky, not waxy balm. I love the feel of matte gloss. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and take that pink Posey I was telling you that pink Posey makes a really, really pretty lip color too. So it's pretty close to Bella. It's really nice to be able to put it on while you're wearing the eye color. It also makes a really nice blush. Like this is a color that you could wear very versatile, like across your face in so many different ways. But I'm putting a little more on because I feel like it needs to come across this blue just a little further. I don't want the indigo to take over the look. Okay, I'm liking that better. And then I'll probably bring this mulberry down. Not mulberry, pink Posey. Mulberry was my transition color. Just want to bring this look more all around the eye. And the indigo we'll go ahead and place around the bottom on a stiff brush, just like this. And this boils down to technique, because I will say this is one thing that kind of bugs me as a makeup artist, is when I see people do this and then not really blend it out and it's just kind of chilling like that. I'm like, ooh, that bugs me really quite badly. So, well, I try not to judge and I like to keep everything subjective. Sometimes it's just technique. So, okay, you want color on the bottom of your eyes, that's fine, but smoke it out. Don't just put it there. You gotta soften it up some. It's another reason why I don't like liquid liner on the bottom, because you can't usually smoke out your liquid liner, but pencil liners you can. So I feel like if you're gonna wear a liner on the bottom, it needs to be a pencil and it needs to be smoked out. See how much better that looks when you soften it than versus when I just had it stuck on there. And you can just add anywhere you need it and blend. Remember to blend pretty quick or you won't be able to. So you don't want to let it sit too long. And also when you're new at this, I recommend working with one eye at a time rather than putting it on both eyes and then going back and forth. I'm doing that just because I'm really familiar with the product and I've used it for years. But for new people, I recommend just doing one side of blue here and then going over one side of blue there. One side of pink here and then one side of pink there. Just until you really get a handle for the drying time. Okay, I think this is the dry brush that we were using. The dry brush just, again, smooths everything out, softens everything up, anywhere that you feel like the lines might be a little too harsh. And if they're still too harsh and not blending, what you can do is get a lighter color. So either that Whisper Pink, which was quite light, so I think I'm gonna go one step down from Whisper Pink and put Pink Frost there, just to kind of work into that blue and take out the I don't want to be too harsh of a line. What happened, Pandora? We're still listening. Yes, I'm still listening. Sounds like it's raining outside. Okay. I think we are getting to a happy place. I believe I want to take this indigo and tight line and waterline. So do you guys know what that is? You want to get like a long skinny brush, flat like this, and just dip that on, and then you're just gonna lightly tap that on your waterline, and that's right up against your eyeball, but not in your eyeball. So you got to learn just where the stopping point is. It's not going to hurt if you get it in your eyes. There's no, like, nothing in this that's going to sting or burn like some liquid eyeliners do. But it's actually very gentle on the eyes. And now this, when you go up top, is called tight lining. It's a little bit easier to do now before you do the mascara. So if you can make that decision before you do your mascara, I feel like it's a little bit easier. It is harder to get the top than it is the bottom without poking your eyeballs. So focus. Again, you won't like hurt yourself if you get something in your eye. Just blink it out. Kind of rub your eye like that to work it towards the center, or if you lightly touch it sometimes you can pull it right off. If you see a drop of it, like right there, I see one, just touch it, and then it comes off on the finger, and then just wipe that on a washcloth, which I usually keep a washcloth in my lap just for cases like that. I feel like this just kind of finishes a look off. So see the difference, and we're not done yet, but it makes your lashes look fuller for when you put on your mascara, and it just finishes the eye up. If it's a casual, like everyday eye, then I wouldn't do this necessarily. But whenever I'm going for a more dressy eye, I do. And honestly, I love to just take a black pencil and do that for an everyday look, and it looks great. It's smoking hot, I think. To have, even if you've got no eyeshadow on, to have black pencil around the top and bottom gives you a very sexy, sultry look. And you can do that with like brown shadows, and then it's really nice. And a soft lip. So do you see the difference? It just really pops up against the white of your eyes. You don't want too much, or then it takes forever to dry, so you gotta learn kind of how much to put on your brush too. If you feel like you're getting it like all over your eyeball, you probably put too much on your brush. Just touch your brush to it usually. And then go, ooh, it tickles on the top. I feel like these little brushes tickle. Ah. And I just went out of the lines. If you catch it while it's still wet, you can just wipe it and it comes right off. See what I mean about very forgiving? If that was powder, it would not have been that easy to fix. Okay. All right, I like that a lot. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put on some mascara, and then for me, I'll decide on if I want to have false lashes as well, or if I'm okay with it just being a mascara. We do have a primer and a mascara formula, and both of these are lash growing and lash enhancing, which are both pretty important for me because I tend to wear either extensions or strip lashes almost all the time, which is really hard on your lashes. So I need something that's going to be fortifying and strengthening and continuing them, encouraging them to grow. And this is just basically a lash boost. It's an ingredient called Capixyl that stimulates the hair follicles to make them grow, which is great because before this came out, my lashes were 9. There was like nothing there. And now there is. What is the advantage to putting on a primer? It gives your mascara really something to grab to, and it also gives your lashes more girth and length, so that when you put your mascara on, you just have a far better result. I was told from a pretty early age at a makeup counter that you should never, ever, ever wear mascara without wearing primer. So I've been a girl that has worn primer most of my life, which is funny because I thought like everybody knew that too. But now that I'm selling makeup and working with this line and this primer came out, a lot of people are like, what is a primer? And I'm like, serious? You've never used a primer before? I was just so happy that we made one. So primers are generally white or light colored. I don't know why they do that necessarily, if that's intentional or if it's just the ingredients. But it's a good way of knowing when you put on your mascara if you got your mascara everywhere or not, or if you still have just primer. Because if it's still light, then you know you need to go over it again with mascara. Okay. So okay, so I have my primer on, and you kind of want to let that sit and do its thing. If you curl your lashes, doing it prior to priming is good, and after priming is fine, but usually you want to do it before actual mascara. And we do have two different formulas of mascara. We have waterproof and non-waterproof. I'm going to put on the non-waterproof today since it's nighttime and I'm not needing long wear. These will all be long wear, but geez, the waterproof one, like I could go for 2 days and it not go anywhere. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and put some of that on top and then just wiggle it up. What are we growling about? Stop. Hey! Nice. Okay. I think they heard something outside. Hopefully it's just the storm. It's okay, honey. It's okay. I don't really want to go outside with you acting like that, so just come. You're making me nervous. I'm home alone, and Daniel is out in the Northeast with Emma looking at colleges. And all the kids are with their other parents, so I'm like all by myself. And I hate it when the dogs act weird and I'm all by myself because I'm like all freaked out thinking somebody's out there. My lashes could definitely use a curl, and I didn't bring my curler down here. So when I'm done with this, I'm either going to be curling them or putting falsies on top. My bottom lashes are great because I don't do lash extensions or strip lashes on those, so they're beautimous. But my top lashes do not love me. I'm very hard on them because I like all the drama in my lashes as much as I possibly can. Oh, it's thunder. That's what it is. I thought it was a dog growling at first, and now I understand what it is. It's thunder. And the dogs don't like thunder. It's okay, honey. It's alright. Jingles really hates it. She hates fireworks and thunder. So, I'm going to try and wrap this up so you guys don't go crazy listening to my dogs have a heart attack and I can go cuddle them. It's okay. It's okay. Alright, so I will take after pictures for you guys. That's the basic gist of it. I do really like this pink Posey with the indigo. Definitely think the waterline made all the difference. Quit! It's okay. What do you guys think? Like I said, I'll take some after pictures so you can really check it out and assess it. It doesn't really need false lashes. I might curl them up just a smidge more to get some more lift on them. Sometimes I'll just do a few outer lashes to give me some extra oomph right there on the outside. But when I tightline, it doesn't bother me as much if they're not super duper long. What do you guys think? Do you guys like that? And what do you guys think about this Bella color with a little bit of Whisper Pink as a highlight? Whenever you do that little bit of highlight, it just makes your lips look fuller, which I love, but you don't have to do that. If you want to keep it all one color, you can. And when I'm done, I always like to just go over it again with that foundation brush. I feel like a little bit on the inner corner of my eyes. Never really, excuse me, never really got it because my brush didn't reach in there very well. So I'm going to take a little smaller brush. Yeah. Go back over those areas that I highlighted a little more. And then I'll take my flat brush just to press those into place. Use your fingers if you need to. But it'll just, anywhere as your face dries, anywhere that it feels like it's not completely set or settled, just take that brush and press it, and it just presses it into your pores. It pulls off any excess, and it just makes your face look flawless. Can you believe that's just tinted moisturizer out on my skin? Like, I'm still blown away that that's just tinted moisturizer. Alright, so that's the look for today. I will post after pictures. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Be sure to be watching out for all the prizes that I'm going to be doing on the prize wheel, and keep looking for sneak peeks of the free gifts that are coming with your purchases.
I could lie, say I like it like that, like it like